Nestled at the edge of a quaint, forgotten village, shrouded by the passing of centuries, lay an ancient well that had become more than just a water source. Enigmatic and foreboding, its ominous presence gave birth to a macabre legend passed down through generations like a dark heirloom. The locals called it the Wailing Well, a name earned not from its initial purpose but from the chilling cries that echoed from its depths, as if the very soul of the earth itself mourned some long-forgotten tragedy. The origins of this sinister reputation dated back to a time when history and folklore intertwined like the roots of an ancient tree. The villagers, steeped in superstitions and bound by an unwritten code of conduct, were convinced that the Wailing Well was cursed by an aggrieved witch who had once been a part of their community. She had been wronged, betrayed, and her life tragically cut short, leaving her soul restless and vengeful. Enraged by the injustice she had endured, she condemned the entire settlement to suffer eternally, casting a malevolent hex upon the once peaceful waters. As the village elders whispered their secrets from bygone eras, the haunting tale spread like wildfire, searing itself into the collective consciousness. Fear had taken root, and every soul within the village's bounds steered clear of the cursed well, its presence serving as a constant reminder of a past best left undisturbed. Throughout the years, the story evolved like a living entity, growing more chilling and ghastly with each retelling. The whispers of the elders were woven with the threads of imagination, embellishing the witch's wrath and painting her as a creature of nightmares, her piercing gaze capable of freezing blood in veins and her shrieks carrying the torment of 1,000 souls. Every moonlit night, as the village slumbered beneath a blanket of stars, the Wailing Well seemed to come alive with a spectral energy. Eerie sounds would emanate from its depths, mournful wails that sent shivers down the spine of anyone brave enough to venture close. The cries would carry on the wind, drifting over the village like a haunting lullaby, a constant reminder of the past and the price paid for a transgression lost in time. As new generations grew, the haunting legend was handed down like an heirloom, its significance ingrained into the very fabric of the village's culture. The Wailing Well became a symbol of cautionary tales, parents whispering about it to their children to keep them from mischief and wandering too far after dark. Despite the tales that frightened the villagers into submission, a curious few dared to approach the well, driven by an insatiable desire to confront the darkness that lurked within its depths. They were met with chilling sensations, as if unseen eyes watched their every move, and phantom hands reached out from the shadows to send them fleeing in terror. In the hearts of the bravest, however, dwelt a glimmer of hope that the legend held more than mere superstition. Some believed that the well held secrets long forgotten, waiting for a seeker with courage and compassion to decipher its mysteries. They imagined unearthing the truth behind the tortured spirit, revealing the depth of her pain and offering her the solace she so desperately craved. As whispers of the Wailing Well's mystery reached distant corners of the world, a renowned historian named Dr. Elizabeth Morgan, known for her fascination with the supernatural, took a keen interest in the village and its cursed well. Drawn to the tales of a vengeful witch and the lamentations that permeated the air, she set forth on a journey to uncover the truth behind the haunting past. The village elders, intrigued by her determination and scholarly acumen, offered her their hospitality, hoping that her arrival might bring an end to the malevolent specter that had plagued them for centuries. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan, a renowned historian with an insatiable curiosity for the supernatural, arrived in the village, her mere presence sparking a glimmer of hope among the superstitious locals. Her reputation preceded her, for she had delved into countless accounts of haunted places, unearthing truths and unraveling enigmas that had left others in awe. Yet, she sensed that the legend of the Wailing Well was no ordinary tale, its mysteries veiled in layers of history and folklore. With a heart pounding with anticipation, Dr. Morgan delved into the village's archives, determined to unearth every scrap of information related to the well's haunting past. Dusty tomes, ancient scrolls, and brittle manuscripts became her companions, and as she traced the lines of forgotten ink, she felt a palpable connection to those who had lived and died centuries before her time. One rainy evening, as the raindrops tapped rhythmically against the windowpane, she stumbled upon a discovery that sent shivers down her spine. The ancient journal she held in her hands belonged to a villager from a bygone era, its pages aged and yellowed by the passage of time. The careful handwriting revealed a tale of sorrow, betrayal, and a witch's curse that echoed through the ages. The journal spoke of an incident that had unfolded centuries ago, when the villagers, blinded by fear and prejudice, had accused an innocent woman of practicing dark arts. The accused woman, known for her wisdom and healing abilities, had been cast out from the community and driven to seek refuge in the forest that bordered the village. As Dr. Morgan's eyes traversed the intricate script, she pieced together the injustice that had led to the well's curse. The witch had sought solace in the depths of the forest, nursing her wounds and brewing her sorrow into a potent force of retribution. Enraged by her wrongful condemnation and thirsting for vengeance, she devised a ritual imbued with ancient magic, cursing the well and the village it served. The journal hinted at a glimmer of hope, an ancient ritual that could potentially break the witch's curse and free the village from its eternal torment. However, the details remained cryptic, hidden within the passages like riddles waiting to be unraveled. Night after night, Dr. Morgan devoted herself to deciphering the journal's enigmatic contents, hoping to unlock the secrets of the ritual that might bring peace to the restless soul haunting the Wailing Well. The village elders, intrigued by her dedication and impressed by her knowledge, offered her their guidance, recounting long-told tales of the witch's wrath and sharing fragmented details passed down through generations. As she listened to the elders' tales, she noticed subtle variations and embellishments that had naturally woven themselves into the fabric of the legend. Dr. Morgan realized that the true essence of the witch's story was intertwined with the collective imagination of the village, blurring the lines between historical fact and spectral fiction. With each revelation, the historian's fascination grew, and she found herself immersed not only in the chilling tale but also in the lives of those who had experienced the events firsthand. The villagers, once wary of outsiders, welcomed her into their homes, sharing not only their stories but also their traditions, their laughter, and their fears. As the nights passed, she became attuned to the cadence of the village's rhythm, the gentle hum of everyday life intermingled with the ethereal cries of the Wailing Well. The haunting echoes reverberated through her dreams, mingling with the past she sought to uncover, weaving a tapestry of emotions that transcended time. Dr. Morgan's pursuit of truth and understanding led her to explore the surrounding forests and hills, where she encountered local herbs with healing properties and legends of spirits that guarded the natural world. The villagers, seeing her respect for their traditions and her genuine interest in their folklore, embraced her as one of their own, fostering a sense of camaraderie and trust that allowed her to delve deeper into the heart of the legend. Undeterred by the ominous legends and the chilling encounters whispered among the villagers, Dr. Elizabeth Morgan ventured forth into the heart of the village, armed not with just her academic prowess but also with an array of scientific instruments she believed could capture empirical evidence of the supernatural. As dusk descended upon the village, she embarked on her first vigil near the Wailing Well, her breath visible in the cool evening air. The well's stone structure loomed ominously before her, and a soft breeze rustled the leaves of nearby trees, making it seem as if nature itself trembled in the presence of the cursed site. Dr. Morgan set up her equipment, recording devices designed to capture even the faintest whispers, and infrared cameras to detect any spectral presence. The first few nights yielded little more than the typical nocturnal sounds of a sleepy village, distant crickets, the occasional hoot of an owl, and the rustling of small creatures in the underbrush. But Dr. Morgan was patient, understanding that spectral entities did not always conform to the expectations of mortals. On one particularly eerie night, as the moon hung low and bathed the village in an ethereal glow, Dr. Morgan experienced an encounter that would forever be etched into her memory. As she stood near the well, a haunting melody carried on the wind, its notes hauntingly beautiful yet tinged with melancholy. It seemed to be a mournful lament, a melody lost in time, echoing through the ages. A shiver ran down Dr. Morgan's spine, and her heart quickened as she trained her recording devices in the direction of the eerie sound. The melody seemed to emanate from the very depths of the well, as if the ancient stone structure itself were a vessel for the soul's lament. For a moment, the historian was torn between awe and trepidation, unsure if her scientific mind could comprehend the ethereal nature of the moment. As nights turned into weeks, Dr. Morgan continued her vigils with unwavering determination. She would often hear strange whispers in the breeze, disembodied voices that seemed to speak in hushed tones, their words barely discernible. Her infrared cameras occasionally caught fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures near the well, just beyond the reach of human sight. During one particularly chilling vigil, as the village lay quiet in the late hours, Dr. Morgan felt an icy breath on the back of her neck, causing her to turn suddenly. To her astonishment, she saw nothing but the empty darkness. Her pulse quickened as she realized that she was not alone in that moment, that something unseen lingered nearby, observing her every move. Though fear coursed through her veins, she remained steadfast, knowing that the answer to the Wailing Well's mystery might lie within these eerie encounters. She pushed the boundaries of her investigation, conducting experiments that sought to measure electromagnetic fields and temperature fluctuations around the well, searching for correlations that could explain the spectral phenomena. During her late-night expeditions, Dr. Morgan also discovered traces of long-forgotten rituals, symbols etched into the stones surrounding the well, hinting at the ancient practices of the village's ancestors. The eerie markings, coupled with the spectral encounters, intensified her determination to comprehend the curse's origin and the purpose of the haunting. As she delved deeper into the village's folklore, she uncovered stories of previous attempts to communicate with the spirit haunting the well. Villagers spoke of brave souls who had performed seances, hoping to find answers and offer peace to the tormented soul. Yet, those attempts had only resulted in terrifying phenomena, further fueling the legend of the well's malevolent spirit. With each haunting encounter, Dr. Morgan's understanding of the supernatural evolved, blurring the line between scientific skepticism and the inexplicable. The historian found herself grappling with questions that challenged the very foundation of her beliefs, wondering if empirical data alone could suffice to explain the haunting or if some mysteries could only be understood through the lens of human experience. As she continued her pursuit of the unknown, the village elders shared tales of rare celestial alignments that coincided with an increase in spectral activity, hinting at a deeper cosmic connection to the haunting. Their stories of spirits and guardian entities became entwined with the legend of the Wailing Well, leading Dr. Morgan to ponder whether the well's curse was merely a fragment of a larger, ancient enigma. With each encounter, the lines between folklore and reality blurred, inviting her to embark on a journey that stretched beyond the borders of the known and into the realm of the unexplained. Driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge, Dr. Elizabeth Morgan dedicated countless hours to unraveling the cryptic details of the ritual that could potentially break the curse of the Wailing Well. She meticulously scoured the village's archives, poring over faded manuscripts and deciphering ancient texts, hoping to piece together the elusive puzzle. With every discovery, the historian felt as if she were uncovering fragments of a forgotten world, connecting the dots that bridged the gap between the past and the present. She encountered references to an ancient amulet, a sacred artifact believed to possess the power to break the witch's curse. The amulet was said to be hidden within the village's humble church, where it had remained undisturbed for centuries. Fueled by determination, Dr. Morgan set out on a quest to locate the hidden amulet. She carefully examined the walls of the church, studying every nook and cranny for any sign of a hidden compartment or concealed passage. Her fingers traced the ancient stone, feeling for irregularities or hidden symbols that might unlock the secrets within. Days turned into weeks, but Dr. Morgan's determination never wavered. She tirelessly searched the church, following the trail of ancient symbols and enigmatic markings etched into the walls. With each step closer to uncovering the amulet's location, the anticipation within her grew, knowing that the artifact held the key to liberating the village from the clutches of the curse. One fateful evening, as the setting sun cast a warm glow through the stained glass windows, Dr. Morgan's sharp eyes caught a glimmer of something hidden within the stone wall. Excitement coursed through her veins as she carefully chipped away the layers of dust and grime, revealing an intricately carved symbol that matched the descriptions from the ancient texts. With trembling hands, she traced the symbol, feeling a surge of energy course through her fingertips. It was as if the amulet itself responded to her touch, acknowledging her presence and purpose. Driven by this newfound connection, she pressed on, uncovering more symbols and following their trail deeper into the church's labyrinthine corridors. As she explored the hidden recesses of the church, a sense of reverence washed over Dr. Morgan. She could almost hear the echoes of prayers whispered through the ages, their whispers guiding her toward her ultimate goal. And then, in a moment of revelation, she stumbled upon a forgotten alcove tucked away in the shadows. Within the alcove, bathed in a soft, ethereal light, Dr. Morgan discovered an ornate reliquary. Its intricate carvings and jeweled embellishments spoke of a sacred artifact, a vessel of power and purpose. Her heart raced with anticipation as she carefully lifted the reliquary, cradling it in her hands as if holding the very essence of the village's redemption. The amulet, adorned with ancient symbols and radiating a palpable energy, seemed to pulse with life as Dr. Morgan examined it more closely. It was a remarkable fusion of craftsmanship and mysticism, an object that held the potential to alter the course of the village's history. Guided by her extensive research, Dr. Morgan soon discovered that the amulet's true purpose extended beyond being a mere key to breaking the curse. It was an embodiment of balance and harmony, a conduit for the restoration of justice and the healing of wounds that had festered for centuries. Armed with the amulet and armed with the knowledge she had acquired, Dr. Morgan meticulously prepared for the ritual that would determine the fate of the Wailing Well and the village it held captive. She meticulously followed the instructions gleaned from the ancient texts, creating an altar adorned with sacred symbols and arranging the artifacts necessary for the ritual's completion. The night of the winter solstice arrived, cloaking the village in an eerie stillness. Dr. Morgan entered the dimly lit church, her steps echoing through the hallowed space as she carried the amulet before her, its radiance cutting through the darkness. She felt a potent mix of trepidation and hope, aware that the moment of truth had finally arrived. With steady hands and a voice laden with conviction, she began to chant the ancient verses, the words resonating within the sacred chamber. The air crackled with energy, and the very foundations of the church seemed to tremble in response. The symbols etched into the walls glowed with an otherworldly light, imbued with the collective hopes and fears of the village. As the ritual reached its crescendo, the boundary between the physical and spiritual realms blurred. A sense of anticipation hung in the air, as if the spirits of the village's past gathered around, awaiting the moment of redemption. The atmosphere grew heavy with the weight of the curse and the whispered pleas of the witch's restless soul. And then, in a burst of ethereal luminescence, an apparition materialized before Dr. Morgan. It was the vengeful spirit of the witch herself, her presence both haunting and ethereal. The room filled with her tormented wails, the culmination of centuries of anguish and injustice. Undeterred by the specter's harrowing presence, Dr. Morgan extended the amulet towards the ghostly figure, her voice filled with compassion and understanding. She implored the spirit to listen, to understand that her pain and longing for peace had been heard. For a suspended moment, time seemed to hold its breath. The ghostly figure stared at Dr. Morgan with hollow eyes, her anguish and sorrow etched upon her spectral form. And then, with a glimmer of recognition, the wails softened, the sound of agony giving way to a profound silence. In a whisper-like voice, the spirit revealed the truth behind the curse, her words carrying the weight of the village's sins and the centuries of torment. Dr. Morgan listened, her heart heavy with empathy and sorrow, promising to right the wrongs of the past and bring justice and closure to the restless soul. With the spirit's revelation, a transformation occurred. The vengeful ghostly figure began to dissipate, surrounded by a radiant light that seemed to cleanse her of her agony. The well's wailing ceased, replaced by a profound stillness that settled upon the village. In the aftermath of the ritual, Dr. Morgan emerged from the church, her face etched with a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. She had become an agent of change, a conduit through which the village's redemption had been attained. Her tireless pursuit of the truth had borne fruit, bringing an end to the curse that had plagued the villagers for generations. Word of Dr. Morgan's triumph spread throughout the village, and the once crippled community embraced its newfound freedom with gratitude and relief. The Wailing Well, once a symbol of dread and despair, transformed into a testament of resilience and healing. The village elders held a ceremony to honor Dr. Morgan, presenting her with a heartfelt expression of gratitude for her unwavering dedication and her role in breaking the curse that had haunted them for so long. And so, the village embarked on a journey of renewal and restoration, reclaiming its identity and rewriting the narrative of its history. Dr. Morgan's name became synonymous with courage and compassion, her legacy intertwined with the folklore and the spirits that now roamed free, no longer weighed down by the shackles of the past. In the years that followed, the village thrived, its prosperity a testament to the power of redemption and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The Wailing Well, no longer haunted by sorrowful cries, became a symbol of unity, a place where visitors could learn about the village's history, acknowledge its past, and honor the souls who had walked its streets. The tale of the Wailing Well became immortalized in books and poems, passed down through generations as a reminder of the transformative power of compassion and understanding. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan's story, intertwined with the haunting legend, continued to inspire seekers of truth and believers in the extraordinary, leaving an indelible mark on the world of the supernatural. As the village continued to thrive, a profound sense of gratitude lingered in the hearts of its inhabitants. They had witnessed the interweaving of history and legend, of sorrow and redemption, and they knew that their fates were forever bound to the story of the Wailing Well, a tale of darkness and light, of fear and hope, of the unyielding resilience of the human spirit. As the day of the ritual approached, the village buzzed with anticipation and trepidation. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan, the beacon of hope in the villagers' hearts, prepared herself for the final confrontation with the vengeful spirit that haunted the Wailing Well. The weight of the village's past transgressions seemed to rest on her shoulders, and she carried the ancient amulet, the key to breaking the curse, with utmost reverence and care. The night of the winter solstice arrived, and the village hushed into an eerie stillness as Dr. Morgan made her way to the Wailing Well, the moon casting an ethereal glow upon the scene. The atmosphere crackled with energy, as if the very air held its breath, waiting for the ritual to unfold. Dr. Morgan's heartbeat echoed in her ears, yet she moved forward with an unshakable determination, fueled by the knowledge that this moment would define the fate of the village and its spectral inhabitant. With the amulet clutched tightly in her hand, she approached the well, the stone structure standing tall like a silent sentinel to the ancient curse. Her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, pondering the path she had chosen, the sacrifices she had made to reach this moment, and the potential consequences of her actions. She took a deep breath, centering herself in the present, and began to recite the ancient verses passed down through generations. As she chanted the verses, the air around her seemed to hum with a strange energy, and the faint echoes of her words blended with the wailing cries that emanated from the well's depths. The spectral figure of the vengeful witch materialized before her, an ethereal presence that seemed to hover between the realms of the living and the dead. Her form was both haunting and sorrowful, a testament to the pain she had endured for centuries. For a moment, Dr. Morgan's resolve wavered as she looked into the hollow eyes of the vengeful spirit. She could feel the weight of the witch's anguish and understood the depth of her suffering. Yet, she steeled herself, reminding herself of the greater purpose that guided her actions. With a voice imbued with empathy, she spoke to the spirit, acknowledging the injustice that had been done to her, offering compassion and understanding. As the words left her lips, something shifted in the atmosphere. The cries of the witch softened, and her spectral form seemed to flicker like a candle in the wind. Dr. Morgan continued to chant the verses, her voice steady and unwavering, as if she was weaving a tapestry of healing words that enveloped the tormented soul. As she reached the climax of the ritual, she held the amulet high, its ancient symbols glowing with an otherworldly radiance. The air seemed to shimmer with magic, and the boundary between the living and the dead blurred, as if the village and the spectral realm were merging into one. In a moment of profound connection, the vengeful spirit reached out, her hand touching the amulet that Dr. Morgan held. A surge of energy coursed through the historian, as if a thread of destiny had woven their fates together. The witch's eyes met hers, and in that fleeting gaze, Dr. Morgan saw the pain, the longing for peace, and the desire for forgiveness that had consumed the spirit for centuries. With the weight of centuries of sorrow and anger, the witch's form seemed to shift, her spectral essence melting away like mist under the warmth of the rising sun. The air seemed to sigh with relief, and a serene calm settled upon the village. Dr. Morgan watched in awe as the vengeful spirit transcended into a radiant light, ascending to a higher plane of existence. The cries that had haunted the well for generations faded into nothingness, and a profound silence enveloped the village, as if nature itself had taken a collective breath of release. The village erupted in a chorus of awestruck whispers and jubilant cheers. The curse of the Wailing Well had been broken, and the village was finally free from the specter that had tormented it for centuries. Dr. Morgan's heart swelled with pride and gratitude, knowing that her journey had not only unraveled the haunting legend but also brought closure to a restless soul. In the days that followed, the village underwent a transformation akin to the changing of seasons. The once somber atmosphere was now infused with hope, and the villagers' spirits lifted like a weight being lifted from their shoulders. They celebrated Dr. Morgan as a hero, a savior who had ventured into the realm of the unknown and emerged victorious. The Wailing Well, now free from its haunted past, became a symbol of resilience and redemption. It served as a place of remembrance, where the villagers honored their history and paid homage to the souls who had suffered unjustly. With each passing day, the stories of the Wailing Well evolved, morphing into a tale of triumph and hope, reminding future generations of the power of compassion and the potential for redemption. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan's name became a beacon of inspiration far beyond the borders of the village. Her journey, filled with curiosity, courage, and compassion, served as a testament to the unyielding human spirit and the impact that a single individual could have on the course of history. With the Wailing Well's curse broken, the village blossomed into a haven of growth and prosperity. The sense of community that had been fractured for centuries rekindled like a phoenix rising from the ashes. The villagers now approached life with a newfound appreciation for the past, cherishing their heritage while embracing the possibilities of the future. And so, the story of the Wailing Well continued to be etched into the annals of history, a tale passed down through generations like a cherished heirloom. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan's legacy lived on, an echo of her courage and compassion resonating through time, leaving an indelible mark on the village and the world beyond. The Wailing Well, once a source of dread, had transformed into a symbol of hope, a testament to the enduring power of healing and forgiveness. With the curse of the Wailing Well finally broken and the vengeful spirit at rest, the village embraced its newfound freedom and embarked on a journey of renewal and reconciliation. The once desolate streets thrived with life once more, and the villagers found solace in their shared history, coming together to heal the wounds of the past. The story of Dr. Elizabeth Morgan's courageous act spread like wildfire, reaching far beyond the village's borders. Her name became synonymous with bravery and compassion, inspiring others to confront their own fears and seek understanding in the face of the unknown. The historian's work had not only broken a centuries-old curse but had also redefined the boundaries of human understanding, uniting the realms of folklore and empirical investigation. Visitors from distant lands flocked to the village, drawn by the allure of the Wailing Well's haunting past and its triumphant redemption. The village, once forgotten by time, became a place of pilgrimage for those seeking to connect with the supernatural, to witness firsthand the power of belief and the resilience of the human spirit. The villagers, grateful for the transformation that had taken place, opened their doors to these curious visitors, sharing their stories and traditions with a newfound sense of pride. They recognized that the legacy of the Wailing Well was not one of fear, but of strength and unity, a testament to the human capacity for growth and change. The once desolate well, which had borne witness to centuries of anguish, became a focal point for gatherings and celebrations. The villagers adorned it with garlands of flowers, a symbol of the beauty that had emerged from their darkest hours. They held annual festivals to commemorate the day the curse was broken, a day of remembrance and thanksgiving for the historian who had forever altered their village's destiny. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan's impact extended beyond the village, as scholars and researchers sought to understand the mysteries she had unraveled. Her work became the subject of academic conferences and literary works, elevating her to a status of reverence among her peers. The haunting legend of the Wailing Well became a topic of fascination and scholarly inquiry, attracting experts from various disciplines who sought to understand the interplay of history, folklore, and the supernatural. The village, now connected to the wider world, flourished with newfound opportunities. With the influx of visitors, local businesses thrived, and the economy soared to heights the villagers had never before imagined. The once remote village became a beacon of hope and resilience, its transformation serving as a beacon to other communities facing their own challenges. As the years passed, the legacy of the Wailing Well and Dr. Elizabeth Morgan lived on, woven into the tapestry of folklore and history. Children grew up listening to the tale, finding comfort in the knowledge that even in the face of darkness, there existed the potential for light to shine through. The story became a rite of passage for each generation, a reminder of the strength that resided within them and the importance of empathy and understanding. The Wailing Well, once a symbol of dread and despair, now stood as a place of pilgrimage and remembrance. Visitors arrived not only to witness the haunting legend but also to partake in the village's vibrant culture, forging connections with the villagers who had embraced their newfound identity. With the curse lifted, the well's waters took on a mystic allure, believed to possess healing properties and a touch of ancient magic. Visitors who sought solace or inspiration would toss coins into the well, making wishes with newfound hope, trusting in the profound changes they had witnessed during their visit. Through the ages, the legend of the Wailing Well continued to evolve, carried by the winds of time, yet its core essence remained constant, a tale of courage, redemption, and the unyielding power of compassion. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan's name echoed through history, her legacy etched in the hearts of the villagers and the many souls touched by the story she had brought to life. And so, the village thrived, not haunted by its past, but inspired by its history and emboldened by the knowledge that they held the power to shape their own destinies. The Wailing Well stood as a monument to the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and understanding could transcend the boundaries of the known and lead to the most extraordinary of transformations.